In the main event, I talked to Kevin Cunningham recently, and he said that Broner's been a model athlete. He's been on time, all the practices, all his training camps. Like, we've heard some stuff before in other camps, and he says he's really, like, motivated for this fight. What do you expect to see out of Broner in that fight against Pacquiao?
I'm telling y'all, with this Manny Broner fight, this fight is going to be much more competitive than what people think it is. And say what you want about Broner, you know, with the all the criticism that he's gotten in the past. He's deserved. And again, I mentioned that, you know, a lot of it's been self-inflicted. But when you have this kind of opportunity, you know, which is essentially an opportunity of a lifetime, he can immediately change the course of the way his career has gone thus far with the win over Manny Pacquiao. You know, and honestly, I think he has a very, very good chance to put. I'm not even gonna call it an upset. I'm not even gonna call it an upset. I think most people are the way most fans and the experts kind of have it. It's like a kind of 60-40. The way I just see it, it's a 50-50 fight. But I kind of favor Broner.
Do you think Broner will go into this fight taking Pacquiao lightly in any way?
Oh, absolutely not. How could he take Broner lightly? I think it could be the other way around.
No, I'm saying Broner taking Pacquiao lightly.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way. How you going to take?
Because Pacquiao's not the same. I mean, he's still a great fighter, but he's not. He's in his prime.
Yes, he is a great fighter. I'm not falling for that bullshit about that. You know, oh, when a guy turns. It's all about his activity level, right. You know, the punishment that he's taken, and if he's preserved his body. He has a very clean lifestyle, you know, outside the ring, Manny Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. So he's a fresh 40, as I would say. You know, he's not. If you're looking for the. Hey, turn it down. Oh.
Let's say turn it up.
What's next for Andrew to beat?
Hold on. What was I saying?
We talking about Pacquiao. Yeah.
Hey, yo, who got this damn music on?
That you weren't buying the bullshit that he's old.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And all that about his last fight about Matisse being. I'm not buying that because. If it would have been all around, Matisse would have stopped him or dropped him or something. Then it would have been the whole tone would have been different.
What about the other side where they're saying Freddie Brooks is saying Pacquiao's got the killer instinct back. He knocked out Matisse, first one in 8 years. He thinks he's back to like the old Pacquiao.
Well,
we know Freddie likes to talk though.
Yeah, Freddie does that. You can't bring back time.
Right.
That you can't do. And prior to the Matisse fight, he hadn't had a knockout in 9 years. Mm-hmm. But he's been very consistent with what he's done. And you know,
knocked a lot of guys down.
Yeah, he's been very consistent. I mean, he all of a sudden he's not going to, you know, switch up at 40. He's a very aggressive, relentless fighter who throws a lot of punches from different angles, who has a tremendous amount of experience, and who's beat a number of great fighters, and who's a future Hall of Famer. You know, and who is eager to mix it up with any and everybody. You know, that's what Manny Pacquiao brings to the table. But in this particular fight, I think that it just comes down to the timing of the fight. Yeah. A win is taking place in their careers, and Adrien, you know, again, you say what you want. He just has to really find a way to win a fight, and this is a big fight. And I think the timing that when they're fighting, and what both guys know what's at stake. And essentially, in my own personal opinion, I think it's a must-win for both guys. Mm-hmm. Not that either one, if they take a loss, that their career is all over. I'm not remotely saying anything of that nature. But what I'm saying, I think it's a must-win for what both guys personally want to accomplish, you know, what's left in their careers.
Leonard, just back to age for a second when it comes to fighters. Isn't it possible that even just guys like Manny and Floyd, even when they lose a step, they could still beat everybody else? Because Floyd said his A+ game was really the Gotti night, and then those last years he wasn't really the same Floyd Mayweather. So I just want to know isn't it possible that Pacquiao has lost a step? He's just still really good, but he has lost a step.
Well, again, you can't define time. We all get, when we get older, we tend to not, move the same. I can't run as fast as I used to. I can't do a whole lot of things, as good as I used to. But I can still do them effectively. And that's just, Father Time. He just catches up with you. But these guys were on such another level. You know what I mean? Those two, Manny and Floyd, was so much better than everybody else over this last decade or so that, it's like,
And it's like, he's chasing a ghost, essentially, trying to have a fight with Floyd. But does that motivation, could we see a better Manny Pacquiao than we did the past couple of years because he's chasing that ghost?
That's a great question. I think so. Because let's take the Floyd element out of it, because Floyd's not part of the equation. He's retired. Look at the guys and the options that he has if he can get past Broner. Each and every one of those fights with the current landscape of the welterweights out there, I don't count him out in any of those fights. I think that the Spence fight would be a little rougher. But Manny seems to think that he could beat him too. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know for a fact that with all the other welterweights, he would be very competitive, and he wouldn't be an underdog in my eyes.
When it comes to Broner, in his 3 losses, did you feel he just lost to the better fighters, or did he beat himself a little bit in any of those fights?
Not taking anything away from any of the other guys, because before the 3 losses that he had, they were excellent fighters. Especially Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia has had a phenomenal career and will continue to have a great career. We all saw what happened in that fight, and then the Sean Porter fight, where we all saw that he gave away the early rounds. He came on strong at the end and he dropped Sean, which surprised everybody. And then obviously with the Madonna fight, but one thing that he's shown he has great heart. And he'll be the first to say, and he said this over and over, that he hadn't given himself the best chance to be successful. Because anytime a guy has that kind of God-given ability, and you kind of don't really make the most of it, and then people kind of, they disrespect you a lot, and because of your performances or whatever. But just imagine if you were him, you got all that bottled up. I know for a fact that he's giving himself the best chance because he's in the best shape of his life. What if he wins?
He thinks 100 million's coming his way if he wins.
Well,
Billions.
yeah. He thinks